Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with the feature race from round 12 of our F222 career mode here from the Netherlands. Yes, 5 more races across 3 more rounds of the season, and of course if you missed out on yesterday's video from Zandvoort, I would highly recommend going back and checking out a 37-point lead as we head into the feature race today over our big title rival Felipe Drugovich. Things are certainly heating up, but now, you know, we're really getting to the swing of things. We're starting to build a bit of a gap, and finally some mistakes coming from our Brazilian rival as well. Quickly though, before we jump into it, I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you for the insane and continued support on the channel. You know, 2023, a new year, we've got some very big goals and aspirations as we head into, of course, the new season of Formula 1 as well in just a couple of months' time. So yeah, make sure if you're not already, you get yourselves subscribed. You want to be along for the journey this year. But let's get into it then. Dutch Grand Prix once more.
We're back for the second sprint race of the weekend, and one that is sure to be on the young drivers' minds. All is still to play for as we reverse the grid for the top 10 drivers. We are nearly ready for the start of today's race, but in the meantime, let's take a look at the grid. A fantastic effort from Jack Doohan yesterday puts him on pole position, and starting alongside in P2 is Teo Porcher. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Iwasa, Verschoor, Marino Sato and Deruvela, Sargent, Armstrong, Vesti, Yuri Vips, Lawson, Cordial, Cem Bullock-Bassi, Williams, Hughes, Fittipaldi, Hauger and Roy Nissany. Drugovich, Boschon, Novalak and Ollie Caldwell completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Right, well here we are then, back once more here for the feature race from Zandvoort. Of course, we had a fantastic sprint race yesterday, plenty of action from the Dutch GP circuit. Of course, doesn't quite deliver a great race in Formula 1 cars normally, but the F2 cars, this place certainly, you know, like most circuits, F2 just can deliver a show. But there is, once again, the threat of rain coming in right towards the end of the GP today, so we'll wait and see how that might have an effect on things. The game believes hard to soft is going to be the way to go, starting, of course, right up at the front of the grid as well. And looks like a lot of other cars have stuck with us on that strategy. So yeah, weird to see the AI now going for alternate strategies towards the end of the campaign. But, of course, yeah, after today, just 2 weekends left to go of this series. Next weekend at the Temple of Speed in Monza, and then of course normally F2 has a big break before they head out to Abu Dhabi to join Formula 1 for the season finale. Of course, Jack Doohan as well could be knocked out of the championship fight here today. 39 points available from each weekend in FI Formula 2, so yeah, Doohan has got to try and outscore me if he wants to, of course, go into those final 2 weekends with a fighting chance. Of course, 35 points for 2 wins, 2 for pole, and then 1 for each fastest lap there. So 78 points is the absolute maximum you can be behind us as we head in towards Monza next weekend. So Doohan needs a big result today as we line up purple score on the grid. Once again, I'm pretty certain it is Ollie Caldwell rounding out the field. But Felipe Drugovich, he needs an absolute miracle here if he wants to try and stay even close in this championship fight as well. There, of course, if we were to win today, we could quite easily head to the Temple of Speed with a 60-point lead. But 5 red lights here in the Netherlands, and it is going to be lights out, and away we go. Not quite the clean start we got away to yesterday. There's still wheel spinning there in 3rd gear. There's Richard Verschoor, of course, homeboy. Big dive down at the first corner there, and he's going to move straight up into P2. We've got Marino Sato in the other Virtuosi car. They're trying to look around the outside through turn 1, and we just about spot him there and give him some room as we'll try and swoop back past Verschoor. Iwasa will have made the place up in his Dams car there and ran the outside of Richard Verschoor, so all the heroics in towards turn 1, and immediately he's lost the 2 places he gained as we head up the hill in towards sector 2 for the first time. Of course, he used the hard tyres yesterday, so we should be used to the grip levels. 19 laps ahead of us though around the Dutch Grand Prix circuit once more, so it is, of course, as you would expect from a feature race over a sprint race, a much longer one this afternoon. But yeah, tyre wear normally is not too bad in these Formula 2 cars either, so we'll wait and see what we can do then as we head through the middle sector. Then, of course, will be a DRS zone in just a couple of laps' time, but Gotta wait just yet, of course, as we head into Sector 3 there, in through this little stadium section. The Orange Army out in full force, as you would expect there. I'm sure cheering the driver that's still sat on my gearbox, Richard Verschoor, there, as we head through the final couple of turns. Try to avoid that outside Gerbin through the final turn. It will allow us to get a slightly better run than all the other F2 cars around us, but Jack Doohan leads the way from the pole there, instantly trying to build up a bit of lead at the front. We've got to try and close up to Iwasa, but Doohan, yep, like I said, he needs the win here if he wants to keep his title hopes alive. We have often found it does take us a couple of laps, especially in the feature races, to try and get the tyres up to temperature. I think the AI tend to just push a bit more aggressively on them early in the feature races. They know they won't have to take them quite as far as a sprint, but yeah, we set new fast lap of the day then as we get onto lap 3. Of course, DRS will now be enabled though around this Dutch circuit. We've got to try and find a way around Iwasa, who is starting to take some time out of Doohan. Got to be really, really careful about managing the tyres. We saw, you know, the likes of Mark Armstrong yesterday. His tyres completely hit the cliff and he lost a good 5 places in the final 5 laps or so. So it's not easy, but it is certainly doable if you just play the long game. But we're not making many inroads so far on Iwasa and Jack Doohan. They both seem to be running pretty quickly. And also, of course, yeah, Iwasa's just getting carried along in the DRS of Jack Doohan in front of him. But of course, you know, we're not desperate to try and make moves early on in this GP. It's not like, you know, we need to get to the front and pull away massively. We just want to try and get to the front. And we don't want to leave it to the very last lap or anything like that. But, you know, patience is a virtue. As we round out the banking once again there. And you can see Iwasa actually top end is slightly quicker than me. That's why we're struggling to really make much progress. Brave on the brakes in towards the bank first corner. Of course, it does kind of hug you into the apex, but yeah, just not quite close enough to do anything. But I mean, we've got 15 more laps. I'm not worried. Team already trying to come up with a new strategy. Then they reckon lap 12 onto soft, so that's quite aggressive. Then clearly, Fred Vesti is going to be boxing in at the end of 11, but do I really want to go? I don't know whether it's worth going that much longer or not, to be honest. As all we just scare Iwasa slightly. Whilst we're worried about strategy, we're accidentally putting the Japanese driver under a lot of pressure as we head up the hill. But of course, really, really difficult. If you have to try and pull out of the slipstream to make a move up there, the AI tends to take the shortest line possible, and then you duck out of the slipstream and can't gain anything anymore. As Doohan now just starts to open up the gap slightly again. If Iwasa loses the DRS, that might make things a bit easier for us, but also gives Doohan a bit of a hand. See Iwasa now barely hanging on to the DRS of Jack Doohan in front. You can see again trying to put the power down as we head out onto the banking. Now we've got yellow flags out. Someone's got issues. That looks to be Sato behind us, going slowly then. So Marino Sato out of the sprint, the feature race here as well. Accidentally have a look at the inside of Iwasa. Wasn't actually trying to really line up a move there, as I was worried about the yellow flags potentially hindering us. And yeah, Sato then is the first victim of the feature race today, and that helps us out in our battle against UNI Virtuosi. And yet we still can't do anything on Ayumu Iwasa because the yellow flags are out. You can see we'll gain on him. So you head back down towards someone, actually setting you fast up. There's no point. I mean, there's no real point even pressuring him. Because of course Iwasa then will just lose time to do it, and we won't be able to do anything about it. So Sato there might just have helped his teammate Jack Doohan for another lap, but yeah, actually looking like Iwasa's got the bit between his teeth again. The gap down between the top two to 0.6 of a second once more. That play, Iwasa is absolutely going for it. The gap now to Doohan under half a second then. So Iwasa now suddenly has decided, you know what, actually I've got a bit more pace in this car. Perhaps he's remembered it's got a 6th gear. New fast lap of the day for Ayumu Iwasa. He's absolutely flying. As we head back down through turn 1 there, we've still got Richard Verschoor behind us, but he's 1.8 seconds back, sat in no man's land. I'm guessing he's just waiting for some carnage between us three at the front there, as now you can just see Iwasa again, compromise run on the exit of the hairpin. They're worried that we're going to be able to hook it up round the outside of him, but nothing we can do against Iwasa at the moment. Perhaps I have got to try and get on with it, it's all. Tiny bit of contact there. Ayumu just a little bit early on the brakes than I was expecting. Again though, there is one reliable corner where we're constantly getting a run on the AI there, and that is out of the final turn as Iwasa. This time around we're going to have to try and go for it. He's going to try and force us defensive, but we will get the car to the inside. Late on the brakes there. Very, very aggressive move. And Iwasa will say, you know what, we'll just come straight back at you off the corner, side by side. at turn 1 between myself and the young Japanese driver there. Really had to fling it through turn 2 there to make sure we get in front, and we are now up into P2 then of this GP, and has it been at the right time? We've got to box the end of this lap, and Doohan definitely seems to be struggling a bit more. Seems the pits will come then at the end of lap 10. Got to be very, very careful on pit lane entry, and look how hesitant Doohan's being. Absolutely no risk being taken there by the Australian. A bit later than me on the brake, so Iwasa will take the lead of the race there. Shaw will stay out as well, as J.M. Daruvula, now new fast lap of the day, just goes 24 thousandths of a second quicker than myself. The purple on the way into the pits. Make sure we don't get held up though, and we've got the jump on Doohan. Somehow, that's definitely an illegal pit exit, but we've got the jump on Jack Doohan there, and the game's allowed me to get away with it, so I will absolutely take it. Nice and easy on pit exit as well there, but poor Jack Doohan, we've been released into his path, and there's been nothing he can really do in that situation, but often the undercut, not actually that powerful on F122, often the overcut is the way to go, as Drugovich, 7 seconds up the road, but he's still got a pit. What a disastrous weekend for him, right when he couldn't really deal with a disastrous weekend. While all the other front runners then peeling into the pit lane, has Iwasa potentially been able to pull off the upset of the race so far, as that is not the line through the final couple of corners. Fred Vesti as well, of course, our teammate into the pit lane, but as we arc our way out of the final turn once more, Doohan has not given up on this. Remember, he needs to beat me if he wants any hopes of a championship fight heading into the final couple of races, and Iwasa heading back out of the pit lane then. He hasn't been able to get the jump either. In fact, Iwasa's actually lost out a little bit more there, so maybe his tyres just starting to hit the cliff, as that is not the line in towards turn 3. They're very, very sketchy for just one moment. But are we now going to be able to pull away from Jack Doohan in towards the final few laps of this GP? Are we going to make this a championship battle just between myself and Drugovich, but open up a 25-point lead over Felipe? Oh, look at that, 121.7, first proper flying lap on the soft compound tyres there, and Jack Doohan not able to match that. Marcus Armstrong certainly is though. But yeah, if we can try and walk away with a fast lap bonus point, you know, it is just those little extra points that really do add up come the end of a long championship campaign. 28 races this season, one of the longest campaigns we've ever done, of course. I think only actually beaten out by, fully enough, the F2 series last year. Of course, that was 30 races, 10 rounds of 3. That was a really, really good fun series. I do miss that one, racing as Oscar Piastri there, but yeah, I mean, this Teo Porcher career mode has certainly had its highlights as well. Oh, here we go. Doohan and Iwasa still not giving up then. There's new fastest laps coming in. Even J.N. Daruvula further back going quicker, so everyone is faster than the car in front of them. 5 more laps after this one. We are still, though, in prime position. 4 more laps to go. Surely this one's going to be new fastest lap of the day. 1:21.3. No, it's not. J.N. Daruvula still slightly faster than me. We are really trying to chase down that extra point. As you can see, the gap to Doohan and Iwasa has opened up. Doohan might even lose the place to Ayumu by the end of this one. Iwasa has been very, very quick on his day this year, but then again, so was Jack Doohan. There we go, 21.2. That should be good enough for fastest lap of the day then, as it feels like everyone else just getting a little bit slower, so we are going to have to nurse these tyres, but 3 more laps from Zandvoort. Final lap then here of the Dutch Grand Prix, and I think now, as long as I don't do anything stupid, we can start to say that we've put one hand on the championship crown here at Zandvoort. We're going to have scored hopefully our 4th podium in a row, 2 weekends running after the summer break, where we've been able to work our way through in one race and of course start right towards the front in the other. Belgium was just chaotic, but Zandvoort, everything really does seem to have fallen into place today, and especially in these last few laps as Doohan and Iwasa have continued to duke it out a bit more behind us. We have been able just to control the pace at the front of the field there. Back-to-back feature race. No, we didn't take a feature race victory, did we, last weekend? J.N. Daruvula snuck that one away, but big results right when our big title rival Felipe Drugovich has just faltered there. It was 0.4 of a second he was off pole on Saturday, and normally you'd think that might be 4-6 places if you're unlucky. No. In Formula 2, that is pretty much the entire grid. That's just how competitive this series has been, at least on a Friday night there. But Iwasa and Doohan as well were able to pull away from a lot of the rest of the field. There, Logan Sargent, one of the stars of yesterday's sprint race, once again delivering in at P5. But round in the final corner, we're going to open up another 26-point lead over Felipe Drugovich. Surely this championship is ours for the taking.
Yes, fantastic! You just won the Grand Prix!
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for ART today. So, Davide, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
It was down to one thing: consistent pace over everyone else out there on the track. We could spend a great deal of time talking about race and tyre strategy, what is so cool on the track, but at the end of the day, the difference here was down to simply being faster on track than everyone else. Amazing skill on show.
An amazing race today, and a very well-deserved one too. The team worked very hard to get exactly the right setup out of the F2 car. It works for them, and the results speak for themselves. ARTGP winners today. After this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the driver's table. Teo Porcher can celebrate tonight as his championship lead is extended even further. Now then, Davide Valsecchi, who would you say was your driver of the day?
My driver of the day was Teo Porcher. He did a cracking job moving through the field. Just a very good race.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Teams Championship. ART have extended their lead over the championship. Another team that excelled today was Dams, who make further progress up the table. That's the end of today's race. Thank you for joining us, and I'm sure you'll agree it was a great race and sets us up nicely for the next instalment in a few weeks' time. Take care. From Davide and I, it's goodbye.
Well, there we are then, the end of the feature race here from Zandvoort, and it's yet another victory for Teo Porcher. They really are kicking on strong late on in the campaign. Jack Doohan unlucky from pole to finish P2, but it is officially a two-horse race as we head in towards our final 2 rounds of the year there. Iwasa P3 ahead of Deruvala, Logan Sargent, and yeah, Richard Verschoor, after that promising start, just didn't quite have the pace to match up against a lot of the other drivers there. Armstrong in 7th ahead of Amory Cordier, who had a very, very underrated but decent weekend, beating out Lawson there, and Williams scores a point from 14th on the grid as well there. Fred Vesti, a little bit gutted with that, no more points for our teammate there. And look at that, Drugovich not even able to make progress in this feature race as well. They're only able to beat out Ollie Caldwell when all is said and done there. But it does mean championship-wise, a reminder that there are still 78 points available in the last 2 weekends of this series, and a 63-point lead over Felipe Drugovich. It could mathematically be sorted out next weekend in the sprint race at Monza as well there. But Gian Deruvala again ahead of Jem Bullock, Bassi Sargent now ahead of Sato and Richard Verschoor. Iwasa, I'm surprised Iwasa solo down the order, but he could still very easily sort of finish 5th or 6th place in this championship. Teams wise, 52-point lead now over Virtuosi, who do get the jump on MP Motorsport. What has happened to MP over the last couple of weekends? They've dominated so much of this campaign, but it is all sort of to fall apart right at the end of the year. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we will be back next weekend ready from the Temple of Speed. The championship can be settled there. Maybe, just maybe, we can do it in front of the adoring Tifosi. Not quite fans of Teo Porcher, perhaps, but you never quite know. We'll be back very, very soon with more F122 content. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.